Imagine planning the perfect child-free wedding, only to have your big day overshadowed by an unexpected guest. In today's story, we dive into a heated debate that breaks out when a mother decides to bring her child to her own wedding, sparking controversy among friends and family. Was she justified in her decision, or did she cross the line? My husband, who is 29 years old, and I, who am 27 years old, recently got married. We spent almost a year planning the perfect wedding and taking the right precautions. One of our first rules was that it would be a no-kid wedding. We wanted an environment where we would not have to worry about children running around, getting into things, or crying. We clearly stated in our invitation that we did not want anyone to bring children under the age of 14. However, we decided to bring our daughter, who is 11 months old. I wanted to hold her during the reception and photo sessions, and then have a family friend drive her home and wait for the babysitter to arrive before returning to the wedding. Before we settled on that friend, we asked a few people for help. One of those we asked was my husband's close friend Darren's wife, Jessica. She declined because she did not want to drive, which worked out fine as we were able to find someone else. On the day of our wedding, despite having communicated the no kids rule several times, Jessica showed up with her 4-year-old son. I was taken aback and approached her to discuss it. She told me that since I was bringing my child, it was acceptable for her to bring hers. I was furious but tried to remain calm. I explained that this was a child-free wedding and asked her to take her son home, assuring her that she was welcome to return afterward. She started yelling at me, arguing that it was unfair for her not to be able to have her child there since I had brought mine. By this point, her son was climbing on things as she allowed him to run free. I told her that this was her last chance to leave with her child, or she would need to go. She rolled her eyes, sat down, and continued to let her son run wild. Eventually, her husband Darren convinced her to leave with their son, but it ruined the first part of my wedding. Now that a few weeks have passed, I have been reflecting on whether I was in the wrong. I enforced a no-kids policy at my wedding, but brought my own child. Many people in my life have said that my actions were hypocritical, at the very least. So, am I the antagonist in this situation? You are not at fault here. It's the couple's wedding, so they get to set the rules, and it makes total sense that the bride would want her own daughter included. An unsupervised 4-year-old is a whole different ballgame compared to an 11-year-old who can actually follow instructions and participate. Life isn't always fair, and it sounds like Jessica needs to realize that. If she brought her kid, that doesn't mean everyone else gets a free pass for theirs. The bride and groom have every right to make exceptions for their own family, and it's totally reasonable to expect that. In the next story, we dive into a heated debate about personal boundaries and the true cost of friendship. Picture this. A frustrated roommate finally decides enough is enough when his tech-savvy skills are constantly taken for granted. But is he the villain for putting a price on his help, or just standing up for himself? For context, my roommate is 31 years old and male, and we are generally good friends. We attended college together, and we enjoy watching television shows and playing card games in our spare time. I am 27 years old and female, and while I am not an expert in technology, I am comfortable enough to handle some advanced tasks. My boyfriend, who is 33 years old and male, is quite skilled with computers and works in information technology. We love to play video games together, and recently, when he visited with his laptop, we logged into one of my favorite nostalgic MMORPGs. While my roommate wants to participate in our gaming activities, he struggles significantly with technology. Despite knowing how to search for information online or attempt to resolve issues through trial and error, he often expresses that he does not know what to do and waits for someone else to assist him. This behavior frustrates me. I have previously felt like a caretaker, constantly rushing to his room to help with basic tasks. I have encouraged him to follow tutorials or search for information, but he often complains that he does not understand. I have reached a point of frustration because no matter how many times I demonstrate how to solve a problem, he still relies on others for assistance. More often than not, that person ends up being me. I have started to be more direct with him, stating that he can either search for solutions online or choose not to participate, as I am tired of constantly helping. Whenever I express my frustration, he explains that he did not have a computer while growing up and therefore never became adept at using one. I find this reasoning hard to accept, as I did not have access to many things in my childhood, yet I have learned to use them as an adult. Recently, I informed him that he has 3 options when my boyfriend and I are playing video games. 1. He can choose not to join us. He can join us, search for solutions, and stop relying on others to solve his problems. 3. He can pay $10 for every instance he requires assistance because of his inability to resolve issues independently. I wonder if I am in the wrong for this approach, but it seems to me that as long as he believes he can depend on others, he will never learn to handle these challenges himself. I think this is a justified way to encourage him to take responsibility for his own learning. Am I the antagonist in this situation? Totally with you on this. It's super frustrating when someone keeps relying on you without making any effort to learn. Setting boundaries is important, and charging a small fee could really motivate him to step up his game. It's all about encouraging independence, right? Plus, as the saying goes, teaching someone to fish is way better than just giving them fish every time. If he values the help, he'll likely put in more effort. People definitely take advantage of free resources, so making it not free is a smart move. You did nothing wrong here for sure. In the next story, we dive into a heartwarming yet controversial tale that has sparked a heated debate on Reddit. A compassionate individual faces backlash after deciding to rescue a cat that seems to have wandered into their life. But was their act of kindness truly justified, or did it cross a line? I have lived in my house for 2 years, and there are many stray cats around, mostly feral. I have been taking kittens to a rescue whenever they appear. There has been a tomcat outside for a long time. I know him and feed all the cats. He has always been more social than the others, but he is clearly neglected. I immediately noticed the immense matting in his fur and how underweight he is for his size. He also has fleas. He is indistinguishable from the other ferals, just a little friendlier. I see this cat outside every day, at all hours. Eventually, I could pick him up, and he began to follow me around. I was considering taking him in, but ultimately I could not. However, the rescue organization I work with told me they had a space for him. I took him there about 2 weeks ago. The day after, they sent me the veterinary report. He is underweight and dehydrated. He has feline immunodeficiency virus, fleas, and heartworms. He has rotting teeth that need to be extracted. He must be sedated and completely shaved down to get him clean. The prognosis is not good. They are managing symptoms and hoping he does not die. However, he is with a foster caregiver somewhere and is comfortable. Recently, my neighbors came over and told me they had seen the cat near my house and wanted to know where he was. I informed them he is with the rescue. They claimed the cat is theirs. I explained that there was no microchip and that the cat appeared extremely sick and did not look well cared for. They insisted on knowing where he was, but I honestly had no idea. The conversation quickly became aggressive and ended with them threatening to call the police. I responded that it was fine with me. No police arrived, and I did not expect them to even if they made the call. I feel a little guilty. In my opinion, they were not caring for him appropriately, and it bothers me to see animals treated this way. They claim he has been theirs forever, but that he is hard to get inside, which was not my experience. What does everyone else think? Am I the antagonist in this situation? I think you are not in the wrong here. It's clear that the cat was being neglected, and bringing it to the shelter was the right call. Those owners clearly weren't responsible pet parents, and hopefully, the cat is getting the care it deserves now. If they had been taking proper care of him, he wouldn't have been in such poor condition. It's one thing to pick up a healthy cat and take it to a rescue, but this was a situation that needed immediate action. Even people who struggle with keeping their cats indoors don't let them get to that state of neglect. Here's hoping the little guy finds a loving home where he'll be properly cared for. In the next story, we dive into a holiday dilemma that's sure to spark some heated debates. Picture this. A family Christmas tradition turns sour when one person decides enough is enough. Was it a bold stand or a selfish move? Let's find out. I am a 29-year-old female and have been married to my husband, who is 30 years old, for 6 years. We have been together for 10 years. Christmas and holidays have never been an issue before, until I became pregnant and am due anywhere from December 15 to December 21 RL. My in-laws have been pushing for us to celebrate Christmas with them for months. My husband has been telling them that we have no problem doing Christmas, but would prefer to do it in the second or third week of January, since I will have just given birth and do not feel comfortable traveling with a newborn until they are at least 1 month old. They kept asking him if the weekend of December 27 would work, and we thought they would be coming to us for the day. We said that should be acceptable, depending on when I go into labor. Here's where I feel conflicted. My doctor plans on inducing me on December 19th, so I will be home by December 22 if everything goes normally. When my in-laws found out, they sent a group text, including my sister-in-law and her husband, stating that their one wish for Christmas this year is for all of us to come the weekend of December 27 to 29 and stay with them for the entire weekend. I was shocked and called my husband to ask if his parents expect me to be 1 week postpartum, travel 2 hours with a 1-week-old, and stay at their house for an entire weekend. He supported my feelings. My husband started a new group chat with them and said the following. Hi, since Omi name will be 1 week postpartum, she does not feel comfortable leaving the house when we will not even have a schedule or routine established, nor will we have time to bond with our child. I have offered many weekends in late January that would work for us to celebrate and for everyone to be together. But since you have kept pushing this, I do not think I would feel comfortable having people at our house 1 week postpartum either. I am more than happy to discuss different dates that work for everyone, but we will not be participating in the holiday festivities that weekend. I would also like time to be at home and not worry about appearing for photos and social media posts. I just want to spend time with my wife and new baby. Unfortunately, this did not go over well. They called my husband and accused me of being selfish, claiming it should not be an issue since they would all be there to help. He responded by stating that my well-being and the time to bond with our baby are more important than them having a family Christmas around that time. I feel bad because I understand they are excited, but it seems like they are not respecting my boundaries. Your actions don't make you a jerk. Seriously, what are these people thinking? It's mind-boggling how some grandmothers forget what it's like to have a newborn. The recovery phase is intense, and there should be zero demands on new parents during that time. Instead of dropping by unannounced, they should focus on bringing over ready-to-eat meals and helping out however they can. Plus, they need to consider the baby's undeveloped immune system. Having a bunch of people come by could pose serious risks. Declaring a baby moon sounds like a perfect plan. It's crucial to prioritize rest and bonding with the little one. Remember, the excitement of others doesn't outweigh your family's need for peace and calm. Congratulations on the upcoming arrival. In the next story, we dive into a heated debate about personal boundaries and hair care. When a friend's innocent gesture leads to an unexpected confrontation, tensions rise and emotions flare. Join us as we unravel the dilemma of whether snapping in the moment makes one an asshole or just human. I'm a 23-year-old female, and my friend is the same age as me. I have very curly hair, specifically threat curls. My friend has wavy hair, but it is not nearly as curly as mine. She has a habit of being very touchy with me in general, especially when it comes to my hair, and it drives me insane. Anyone with curly hair knows how delicate and temperamental it can be. It is also difficult to fix curly hair once it has been messed up. I feel I have been emotionally affected by my experiences growing up with curly hair. I have been laughed at, judged, and touched because of it, making it a sensitive subject for me. While I love my hair now and take good care of it, I cannot handle people touching it without asking. They do not understand that such actions can ruin the hard work I put into styling it. This past weekend, while I was getting ready at home, my friend was visiting. After showering, I was letting my hair air dry. At that moment, my hair was in a stage between wet and dry, which looks strange and flat before it is fully styled. My friend approached me from behind, scrunched my hair, and ran her fingers through it. I was very upset and snapped at her, saying, "You just totally ruined my hair." While I acknowledge that I was rude, I believe she does not understand the frustration of having someone ruin your hair, which can be difficult to fix. As a result of her actions, I had to work on the frizzy and stringy pieces, and my hair did not look good that day. She responded by saying I was overreacting and needed to relax about my hair. I explained that it is frustrating to go through an entire wash day routine just for someone to mess it up by raking their fingers through it. She apologized, but she remained frustrated that my reaction upset me so much. I find it unreasonable for people to touch others without permission, and I am tired of having my hair grabbed. I may seem obsessed with having perfect hair, but it is not about perfection. My hair is curly and fine, which means it does not take much to mess it up. It is upsetting when someone is rough with it, especially knowing how I feel about my hair. So, am I the asshole? You are not to blame. Seriously, how does someone reach adulthood without realizing that touching people's hair is incredibly disrespectful? It's not rocket science. Most people learn that in grade school. It's embarrassing to see someone who just doesn't get it. I remember in secondary school, my friends were only allowed to boing one curl on my head for their birthdays. Any other time, they knew better than to touch my hair or they'd get snapped at. And honestly, if she's still frustrated that you're upset, that's her problem, not yours. She can't just complain about your reaction after disrespecting your personal space. In the next story, we dive into a heated debate that questions the boundaries of neighborly kindness. One individual grapples with the dilemma of whether their refusal to share has crossed the line into selfishness. Get ready for a tale that challenges perceptions and sparks a conversation about community and personal responsibility. For context, I live in a large upper-middle-class neighborhood with approximately 1,500 homes, and we have several Facebook groups. Residents frequently give away items, sell things, offer services, and ask for help. It is a friendly and generous community. About a year ago, when I was 1 month postpartum, I decided to give away all the formula samples we received in the mail and from my obstetrician-gynecologist. I had about 8 small cans of various formulas and made a post about it. A neighbor, whom I will refer to as Sarah, was the first to comment on the post. I did not check the post immediately but saw a message come through from a different neighbor. I responded to her first and she came to pick up the formula. I marked the Facebook post as claimed, and then Sarah messaged me, expressing her frustration. She explained that she was the first to comment, that she had waited all day for me to reach out, and that she urgently needed the formula. I apologized and explained that I responded to the first person who messaged me, not the first commenter, because I simply wanted to get rid of the formula without thinking it was a serious matter. A few months later, someone posted about giving away a jogging stroller. I commented on that post, and so did Sarah. The neighbor giving it away quickly replied to me that it had already been claimed, and I went about my day. Later, Sarah messaged me, accusing me of picking up the stroller. I told her that the neighbor said it was claimed, and that I did not even know where she was located. Sarah mentioned that she had walked a mile to pick it up and that it was not there. I reiterated that I did not take it and suggested she reach out to the owner. Sarah continued to press me, stating that she really needed it because she walks around the neighborhood every day. I maintained that I did not take it, and eventually, she stopped messaging me. Fast forward to today. I received a complimentary museum ticket from my workplace. It expires in a few weeks, and I knew I would not be able to go, so I offered it for free on our Facebook page. Sarah was the first to comment, followed by a few other interested individuals. A friend of mine texted me, saying she saw the post and wanted the ticket, so I decided to give it to her. After that, I deleted the post, and guess who messaged me? Sarah Nanes. She expressed her anger, stating that she was the first to comment and that I chose someone else again. I kindly explained that a friend wanted it, so I gave it to her. Entrance to the museum costs around $15 to $20. It was not worth that much, and I preferred to give it to someone I know and like. Sarah continued to argue with me and eventually blocked me. It is worth mentioning that I have never met her in real life. My husband believes I am in the wrong and that I should have given the ticket to her because she is always looking for free items and was the first to comment. I disagree. I have never seen her post requesting anything specific. She simply tries to acquire all the free items available. So, am I the antagonist for giving my item away to others instead of adhering to the first to comment unspoken rule? Honestly, just turn off comments on the Facebook posts and tell people to PM instead. It really simplifies things. Nothing you have done here makes me think you are the jerk here, especially if your group doesn't have a strict first come, first served rule. In fact, a lot of groups prefer to wait a bit before deciding so everyone has a fair shot, which helps people who might not be glued to their screens. If someone is causing issues, just block them and move on. It's all about keeping it fair and making sure everyone has a chance. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.